It's my job both to welcome you to my university and to celebrate the friendship that brings us all out on a frosty, by Richmond standards, evening. We care about relations between the United States and China. I'm a Russianist, so you know that means I'm hardcore about looking for friends where we can find them. But relations between China and the United States on an official level are very frosty. On a personal level, I really do think they're as warm as ever, and it makes the job of analysts like our speaker this evening all the more difficult. How do you merge the tremendous goodwill of people? How many people in this room have been to China? How many people in this room would like to go to China? Wait, are those all the same people? But even 10 years ago, there wouldn't have been as many hands, and 50 years ago, there would have been very few. So people-to-people connections have become strong, and now the question is how to balance that with an increasingly negative global tide. So hopefully we'll come out of tonight with some ideas. Actually, Rose, would you hold up the speaker's book? I meant to. Thank you. I meant to do so myself. I do feel that there's a very strong connection. There's a giant dragon here. There's a dragon on the cover of our speaker's new book, which will be available for sale after the talk. And it is the year of the dragon. So let us hope that this, which is a lucky year in which to be born, turns out to be a year when unexpected new glimpses of hope can animate our global stage. We're ready. As on the subject of hope, I'll just say a few words about Rose Chen before I sit down. Rose is a friend of the University of Richmond, a friend of the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, and probably a friend of most of you. She has spent many years forging connections between China and the United States, sometimes with serious shoe leather, taking groups to China, having people in China host people who she knows and cares about, and basically standing as a personal emblem of how one can care about many different countries and synthesize them, the strengths of each, in one formidable frame. So I was lucky enough to meet Rose in my first year, and I was also lucky enough to meet Irby Brown, after whom this lecture is named. He was an elegant person. He was very old school intellectual, my favorite vintage for those of you who can resonate. And he really cared about the University of Richmond as a global campus. We're small, but we're mighty, and I feel forced by the elbow of some people who are here tonight to announce that we were ranked #1 in the country in our category for study abroad. So that is a tribute to our students who are on fire to go abroad. And we look forward to the days when more than 2 of them can be in China. We do have students in China, but it's a small number. Engagement with Asia is becoming stronger again, and we are working very hard on our relations with Japan, which hosts a higher number of students now, and in another year it will be higher yet. So there are sparks of hope. We have to remember to look for them, and most of them come at the grassroots level because we care deeply about the quality of relations between countries and the quality of relations among people, which can inform those relationships. So thank you, Rose, for being an emblem of people-to-people contact and for being a bright light for so many of us. Please.
Thank you so much, Masa. You has always been so generous and supportive. I'm very, very lucky. I think I'm the luckiest person on earth because I have 2 great partners here. One is U of R, #1 in international education, and VMFA is the premier museum in the U.S., and also the first one to sign MOU with Palace Museum, the first one of the American Museum to take exhibition to Palace Museum, and vice versa. Bravo. I am just, I think we create a synergy, which is parallel anywhere else. May I say that? Yeah. And of course, nothing is possible without a community support. I have my committee members here. I have my financial supporter, in-kind supporter, and volunteers, and so many of you make this possible. I do this for the community, and you responded, and you are here. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I also want to take this opportunity to remind everyone we have the pamphlet of ChinaFest programs, so feel welcome to take a copy. We have film and lecture and family day at VMFA. And tonight's program is made possible also not only the Office of International Education, also OSHA, Lifelong Learning. Peggy, thank you. And many of you are from OSHA. Thank you. Now, I want to take this opportunity to introduce our speaker. And I have my cheat sheet, sir. Dr. Suisheng Zhao. I'll use the Chinese pronunciation. He graduated from Peking University and then University of Missouri, MA in sociology, and then PhD degree in political science from UC San Diego. And he's currently a professor and director of the Center for China-U.S. Cooperation at Josef Korbel School of International Studies. I learned from Martha this evening, Josef Korbel is well known, is Albright.
But Madeline Albright's father.
Madeline Albright's father. Yeah. So you learn something new every day, yeah. And he's also the founder and editor of the Journal of Contemporary China, and author and editor of many 24 books. And tonight, as Martha introduced the book, The Dragon Rolls Back, Transformational Leaders and Dynamics of Chinese Foreign Policy. So we have a feast to learn from Professor Zhao. And one little tidbit, Professor Zhao was in Taiwan as an observer with an international group about the presidential election. And then he went to Singapore and had dinner with the previous prime minister. So he has a lot of story to tell us. Here we are. Thank you.
When I came to China, came to the U.S., even before I came to the U.S., the relationship was up and down. What I called cycle pattern, moving forward, then retreat. This cycle pattern was guided by what people talk engagement and assurance. Two factors cause these cycles, especially downturns. One was those shocking events, such as Tiananmen Square and the Cold War, mid-air collision of the aircrafts, Li Denghui's visit to the US. And the leaders on both sides invested so much in the relationship. And they try to manage those crises, and eventually those crisis downturns will be reversed. And interest-driven cooperation returned. Second factor was U.S. presidential cycle. You all know that during presidential campaigns, candidates very often criticized its predecessors for too soft on China and promised if he came to office, so far he only pays off, unfortunately. Until he came to office, he would take a much tougher position on China. That caused downturns. But when he came to office, he quickly realized the importance of the relationship, the strategic and economic interests of the U.S. Then he changed position and the relationship, returned to the so-called right track or move on. But what happens today is very different today. Since Trump came to office, what I have found a prolonged crisis. This downturn, sometimes for quite a while, free fall, was not caused by any instance or any presidential cycle. In fact, the Republicans and Democrats, they fought on every issues. But the only thing they agree upon today is getting tough on China. China is our rival, competitor, even enemy. And so, has nothing to do with all those factors, what we mentioned at that time. And making things worse for quite a while before this summer, about 5 years, those regular communications at working level and very high level collapsed, including what George W. Bush started, this, the strategic dialogue and strategic economic dialogue, which put a cursor, and that leaders on both sides talk to each other, understand each other's positions, all started during the Trump administration. The last U.S. cabinet member visited China was Mike Pompeo on September 2018. And that visit was total disaster. He requested a meeting with the president of China, Xi Jinping, and he had a meeting with the Chinese foreign minister at that time, Wang Yi. Now he came back to the foreign minister for the next 1 hour. And the whole next 1 hour, Wang Yi lectured Pompeo, how long you lost trade war. I knew that because I organized a positive dialogue between China and U.S. at the time in Beijing. And the U.S. embassy person came. Went there with our former dean, Ambassador Chris Hill. He was Assistant Secretary of State for East Asia. So, and people came to talk to us. They said, "Oh, wow, horrible! This visit was total disaster." And since then, one more thing. China is known for their ceremonial and hospitality, and Pompeo was not even invited for a meal. The whole visit. That's very horrible. You can say, yeah. And since then, the U.S. cabinet naval officials stopped visiting China until this June. Secretary of State Blinken visited Beijing. And during those times, those so-called meetings were very few. And both sides tried to accuse the other side through mediums. And the first meeting, when Joe Biden came to office, 2012, his foreign policy principles, Jack Sullivan, National Security Advisor, and Tony Blinken met their Chinese counterparts in Alaska in March. And the media described that meeting. The temperature inside the room was chillier than the temperature outside. And Blinken started the meeting in the foreign media to accused, blame China. We are Americans very concerned about your human rights, Taiwan issue, and Hong Kong, and Tibet, everything. Then the Chinese delegation led by Yang Jiechi and Wang Yi. Yang Jiechi was top diplomat from China. He said, you Americans are no longer in a position of strength talking to China. Basically said, you are in trouble. And you have to stop interfering, stop promoting democracy, because your democracy is in big trouble. And Foreign Minister Wang Yi added that you have also changed your bad habits. Chinese say, 坏毛病. Bad habits of interfering in our internal affairs. These exchanges took about an hour in front of global media. If you remember that, what was funny there was that Chinese media reported that the U.S. side did not give a meal to Chinese delegation either. And Yang Jiechi people ate their instant noodles in the hotel. That's the story in Chinese. They said, those Americans are barbarians. They don't know how to treat us. In fact, at a meeting, Yang Jiechi told the Americans, I thought you know how to show your hospitality. But now I find you are totally barbarians type of person.
Yeah.
They talk about that way. You remember that meeting was total disaster. And also, Ding Martha talked about the people-to-people exchanges. The official exchanges somehow passed. People-to-people exchanges was also reduced significantly. And American students not go to China anymore. And especially during the zero COVID policy and other problems. And 2000, I think 2009, during the Beijing Olympics at that time, 2008, there were 15,000 American students there. Last year, how many do you know? 350. Wow. Only 350 American students in China. So you have two there. And the Chinese students still coming to the US, but US put very restrictions on visa issuing to Chinese science and engineering medical science students. And I heard quite a lot of Chinese scholars with the US were questioned, detained in the US immigration in the airports. Just yesterday, there was a Beijing Foreign Studies University dean. He put a big video, said he was detained, questioned in Chicago airport for 3 hours. He led a delegation of 5 grade students went to Carter Center in Atlanta. He said, we want to learn American democracies, but these people just saw us as enemies. Yeah. Indeed. Let me give a story here. That's my favorite story. Wang Yi, he was a dean of a School of International Studies in Peking University. We had a scholarly exchange program, and we had delegation to China, they had delegation came to the US. And last October, we had a dialogue in Washington. He came to Washington in Dallas airport, was detained by US Homeland Security people. Then, what I found so interesting is that they did not know anything but just look at the computer screen, found he was a very senior, accomplished Chinese president with the United States. This guy must have a problem. Then they asked him, why did you come to the United States? Basically said, who sent you here? A spy agency. He said, Center for International and Strategic Studies, CSIS. The Homeland Security Officer did not know about that organization. Then he saw his agenda. You are going to New York City. Who do you see in New York City? He said, Henry Kissinger. And the Homeland Security Officer said, can you spell that? We don't know who is Henry Kissinger. That's your problem. International education. this kind of change of situation. And so the relationship came to a very horrible situation last year. Everybody was concerned. Remember, before June, I just quoted two here, Ray Dalio, and he benefited from China a lot. He wrote the United States and China were in the brink of war. That was written last April. And beyond ability to talk because each was very close to the other's red line and each was using friendship to push the others in the risk of war. And unlike this, when these two countries were connected, sleepwalking into a conflict. That was the situation last year. I think although people criticize Joe Biden's foreign policy on many fronts, but on China policy, I think he did the right thing because he did not want to see a war or incidental war with China. He wanted to reopen the line of communication. And in his words, responsibly manage the competition. Even during the dark day of Cold War, the US and the Soviet Union maintained communications to build confidence, to avoid those kind of escalation. So he tried to do that. And China side, I think, also was willing to resume this type of communications. So the year before last year, during the first in-person meeting between Joe Biden and Xi Jinping in Bali, Indonesia, they agreed to send the Secretary of State, Blinken, to Beijing last February. I thought that was good. What happened? The so-called spy balloon. Remember that? Flew over the US airspace just 3 days before Blinken's scheduled visit. The US side canceled the meeting. And after the balloon event passed, the State Department US tried to reach out to reschedule the meeting. I said, are you serious? You canceled that. So that negotiation took a while, for quite a while. But US side, I think, was very, very positive to reschedule it. Eventually, a secret meeting between Wang Yi and Jack Sullivan in Geneva, in third country, reached agreement that Secretary of State was going to visit China on June 11th and 12th for a very short, quick trip. But that was very significant because after that trip marked the reopening of regular high-level communications. After his visit, we saw the Secretary of Treasury and the Secretary of Commerce and also Special Envoy for Climate Change, Yang Peng, 4 cabinet members visit China last time. Was that visit? Were those visits successful? I don't think so. But they did not reach any agreements. All they agreed was to continue the talk. They established 8 new channels of, really established, restored new channels of communication, which was sustained during Trump years. And some by military to military sustained by China after Nancy Pelosi's visit to China August 2000. Last year, 22. And what I think was interesting for me was Blinken visit. The Chinese media, we noticed that there was no red line. For sure. What was this red line? You can see that red line? That was a viral in Chinese social media. That's a red line. American, you cannot cross. That's what he told the Chinese side. There are so many stories. I don't want to give you too many. Another thing was here, in the meeting, how to read this picture? She in a long, huge table in the head. The U.S. delegation and Chinese cabinet members sat on both sides. It's very hierarchical. Very hierarchical. Why I said hierarchical? Just a few days before Blinken visit, she met with Bill Gates. Equal footing, side by side. So very, very humiliating, I would say, insulting to Americans. And another Janet, the Secretary of Treasury visit. This photo is not photo. There's a video. I don't want to show that. You remember that? She bowed 3 times. 3 times to the Chinese vice premier. And he's so tall. She's so small. She came to pay tribute to the Chinese government. He just did not bow back. He just gave her more space. And so in that case, what was also interesting for me was they did not roll red carpet for the U.S. government officials, but they rolled red carpet for Henry Kissinger, which the Homeland Security officers did not know who he was. China thought he was powerful, influential. Is he that powerful, influential? He retired. He's 100 years old. He was a private citizen. But that signals Chinese and Americans. We don't like your official policies. We miss those good old days of Kissinger Nixon years. And the U.S. wholeheartedly engaged China. And so, these, although those agreements and all those cabinet visits did not accomplish much, but they paved way for the summit November 15th in San Francisco. We all know that. Eventually, now people concerned if he will come, eventually came to San Francisco to, I think I have a photo, no, yeah, there's a photo here, to attend an APEC summit there. And this meeting accomplished something, several agreements, because expectations were so low. Media, the U.S. government, the Chinese government all tried to lower the expectations. So from that perspective, the summit accomplished a lot. They finally, when John Kerry went to China, he told Chinese side, can you isolate the climate change collaboration from geopolitics? China said no. The climate change collaboration cannot be separate from overall relationship. Now China said, yes, we can just separate this climate change because it's more kind of hurting the whole human being. We can just separate that. So they issued that statement. And China also agreed to have a meal-to-meal, they call military-to-military dialogue, which when Blinken visited China, Beijing, he pushed very hard. China, no way, will not do it. But Xi Jinping said, no, we can do that. They also reached agreement on a fentanyl, which for American politicians, big deal, domestic politics. And also they somehow surprisingly reached agreement on AI to work together or to collaborate to prevent that kind of weaponization. And Xi Jinping also showed a very charming, said, oh, we'll invite 50,000 American students to China, hopefully you'll send them. And he also said, oh, Americans, you miss Panda? We might invite you back to diplomacy. And in my assessment, it accomplished something. But the pronounced crisis, I don't think, is reversed at all because none of those agreements are binding. We all know that. Trump reached the final agreement with China 2018. Then it feels China never follows through. Even military to military exchange, China always kind of put on and off. If anything happened, US sent weapons to Taiwan, they stop military to military dialogue. In fact, there were 5 channels of military to military dialogue on security every time, all those dialogues. Nancy Pelosi's visit stopped them all. So they can stop at any time. I don't know if there's another crisis at this time, like the balloon or whatever. These 2 weeks, Biden was very confident. I can talk to Xi Jinping any time. You sure? If there is a balloon or some this kind of crisis, can you pick up phone, talk to Xi Jinping and talk it up? I'm not that optimistic. So accomplish something, but I don't know if they can continue. What I use the topic, walk the walk and talk the talk. Basically, they talk so friendly among officials and also at summit. Oh, we'll keep the line of communication open. We'll put flow on the relationship and everything. But in action, it's a totally different story. And there's some of those actions. On China's side, they invited Russia, President from Poland, to Beijing for the One Belt One Road global forum, which is big signal to Americans. We are still in confrontation. We are working with Russia. Russia is some kind of Prague in the Western countries. But he was a guest of honor in China. U.S. also did exactly the same thing. Send weapons to Taiwan. Not only sell weapons now. Joe Biden last year transferred arms, $80 million untransferred. That's not sale. According to foreign military financing program, which is used only for sovereign states. That's a very big no to Chinese government. But we talk, but we still do the different things. And the question here is why? When we talk the talk and the walk, a lot of people in both the US and China said, oh, they had misjudgments, they don't understand each other well, don't understand each other's intentions. Bottom lines, my argument is just opposite. They know each other too well to make compromise. They know they cannot gain anything. They know each other very nice. You and China in the last half century, they all know the Taiwan issue, they all know the tax issue, all know the natural problem, everything. They know each other so well. So they cannot take the other side's promises seriously. The Americans told or still telling the Chinese, oh, we will not contain China. We will not want to damage Chinese economic development. Do you think Chinese believe that? Of course not. Chinese know Americans put China as #1 competitor, if not enemy. No president, Joe Biden said, I will not let China surpass America on my watch. No American president would want to see China to be a peer power of the United States of America. They know the US will do everything to undermine, to contain China's Communist Party. I mean, yesterday, did you watch that yesterday? I think the congressional hearing about those tech companies, the TikTok. Yeah, they asked him those ridiculous questions. Yeah. He's from Singapore. He said, are you a member of Communist Party? That's American mentality there. Chinese know that. And the Chinese to the Americans, one never want to displace America. Do you think Americans believe that? No way. Americans will not believe Chinese. You got rich, you got development by taking advantage of American investments, American market, American technology, American rules-based international order. Now you become big and rich, you want to challenge us. You want dominance, you don't drive us out of Asia and beyond. America will not trust China either. So here, why they could not trust each other? Because there are some fundamental issues or fundamental sources of frictions they cannot compromise. I put 3 issues there. One is ideological battle. Second is great power competition. Third is Taiwan issue. Let me briefly mention the 3 issues. Ideological differences, Communist Party, American democracy. They were there forever. It's not new issue. But during the early years of so-called engagement or after normalization, both sides downplayed the ideological difference. The ideological issue became an issue only after the end of the Cold War, when China was left as only common power in the world. And you remember Bill Clinton told, named human rights record with most favored nation status. Well, but at that time, Deng Xiaoping was very, very smart. He kept no pride, avoided all confrontations with the United States. In the meantime, he accelerated China's market-driven economic reform and opening up to lure American business. So American business pressure was a very important key to dealing with human rights and MFN status. Xi Jinping came to office. Everything changed dramatically. He has been very firm to defend the Chinese Communist ideology, tightening the ideological control all over China, and very critical of American democracy, very, very critical of American democracy. He put national security law into Hong Kong, destroyed Hong Kong's status. I was in Hong Kong last year. I was so disappointed. I gave a talk at Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, very university. I told Dean Martha earlier. They warned me, you cannot criticize Xi Jinping. If you criticize Xi Jinping, we will be in trouble. In fact, I gave a talk like this room. My host was very nervous. He said, oh, in that corner, there's a person, we don't know him. It's him from the Chinese government. You're so nervous. So that's what is happening in China today. And this kind of tightening of ideological control has really highlights the ideological differences between the US democracy and the Chinese authoritarian system. And I don't agree with Trump's policy, but his Secretary of State, Pompeo, at that time said he separated Chinese people from Chinese Communist Party and challenged Chinese Communist Party. And Joe Biden now made it so clear that the competition between China and the US is a battle between democracy and autocracy. I don't agree with that, but that's what the perception today is. Can you compromise on that? Xi Jinping was so nervous. That's counter-revolution. That's a regime change. He will mobilize every resources to resist Americans' ideological attack on China. For sure, you can see that. The second aspect is what I call great power competition. Chinese leaders I'm an IR scholar, are really realists They see international relations as a jungle of direst power struggle. When China's relative power was weak during Deng Xiaoping's years, they kept no profile, try to adapt to the reality of U.S. dominance in the world. Financial crisis 2008-2009 was a turning point. Because that financial crisis started from the U.S. And the U.S. at that time, China weathered the financial crisis much better than America. 2010, China still reached double-digit economic GDP growth, but that was not swell. And the U.S. was not -4. So China thought the U.S. was doomed. The China time came. Even today, you go to China, they still talk that way. And China's attitude toward China changed. I don't know Chinese scholar, he wrote an article which Xi Jinping likes. He said, in the past, we look up America because America was like, everything was good. Now we no longer look at America that way. He said it's leveled, equal. Even, in fact, in talk to Chinese scholars, the Chinese media said Americans, society, gun violence, discrimination against Asia, and so anything negative America. So America in trouble, big trouble, America. And so this kind of change of perceptions of America also reflected in the Chinese policy toward America. China no longer bend to American unilateral demands. In the past, Americans always have hands for China. Now China said, no, reciprocity. You want us to do something, you have to do something for us. So Xi Jinping had a new model of power relationships. What's the model? 3 principles. No conflict, mutual respect, and win-win. The 3 principles. The key is mutual respect of each other's core national interests. What's called national interests? By definition, American will use vital national interests. That's a Chinese term. By definition, it's a bottom line of national survival. You cannot compromise. You cannot negotiate. Taiwan issue is called national interest of national territorial integrity and sovereignty. And but that was old time. Maybe Tibet issue, maybe Xinjiang issue. Now they put everything into that core national interest basket. Economic development, regime security, South China Sea, East China Sea, name it. So I joke to my colleagues in China, if everything is called national interest, you cannot compromise, cannot negotiate. Why you need the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? Why you want to have diplomats? Diplomat's job is to make compromise, to negotiate. All you need is a Ministry of Defense. And also they have the 5, I put there, I don't want to read them, 5 notes US could not do. So that caused Americans a sonic moment. I don't think, you know better than me, American politicians nowadays. Everyone is so alarmed over China. So China as a top competitor, China was going to replace Americans' leadership. China is going to undermine the U.S. next called rules-based international order, which is also nonsense too. But this type of power competition brought these 2 countries in the brink of what Graham Allison from Harvard, he talked about future business trap, in which the incumbent power is so suspicious of rising power, wants to have preemptive action. And rising power suspicious of incumbent power. This incumbent power will never let us to surpass them. So we have to fight first. This kind of mentality, which had not taken place yet, but we're going into that direction. And the third is Taiwan issue. And Ross asked me to talk about Taiwan issue. I just came back from Taiwan to observe the election. The cross-Taiwan street relationship was, I would not say really that top issue, but it's a big issue in an election. In fact, Taiwanese people, they can small but meaningful issue Taiwan said about the salary, transportation, and housing, market, price, all those issues. But the threat, the military threat from mainland China is there. And this issue is the only issue that could bring the US and China into a military conflict. Only issue. Some people say South China Sea, even Yamil Sharma in Chicago, he said the South China Sea, I would say Taiwan issue is the only issue there. And in fact, China, for many years after Deng Xiaoping, even Mao Zedong's years, they played long game with a strategic patience. And since Deng Xiaoping's years, he started a peaceful unification campaign, although he never renounced the use of force, but he emphasized peaceful unification. Xi Jinping has running out of his patience now. He told the Taiwanese visitors that we cannot allow this issue to be passed from one generation to another generation. He has a mission. His mission, the national unification, under his watch, if not sooner. And so he has intensified military exercise and even hardened the one country, two systems he proposed terms for the unification. And but his biggest concern is what? American intervention. The most big concern is American intervention. Do you think Americans will get involved? I don't know. I don't know anything else. But American policies are also evolving, change in this process. And after normalization of the diplomatic relationship between China and US, US has to accept a one China policy. The China called one China principle. US will never accept China's one China principle. But US has one China policy in which the US recognized that PRC is the only legitimate government of China. And the US cut official relationship with Taiwan. But in the meantime, US has a two-pronged policy. US continued arms sale to Taiwan with the Taiwan Relations Act, TRA. And US insists that we don't care if the one China or two Chinas. All we care is peaceful resolution. China has peaceful unification. Americans said peaceful resolution. And also, if you want to unify, you have to get consent of both sides. Cross Taiwan Straits. That's American policy for quite a while. So U.S. tried to keep a status quo there. But this U.S. policy has also changed. Taiwan became democracy in 1990s. Real or not, that's a different issue. But American politicians become somehow more and more in tune, sympathetic to Taiwan. So how could authoritarian China to take over or invade a democratic Taiwan? That's American thing. I don't know how many people in the audience think that way. And the Americans' military also when competition in China intensified, they became more and more aware of the Taiwan's geostrategic importance to have Japan allies, Japan, South Korea, Australia, all those countries. And so in last decade also, the exchanges between Taiwan and the US increased dramatically. When the arms sale to Taiwan, not only, it's reached such level in last couple of years. And the visits of American congressional delegations and the cabinet level of the US officials to Taiwan dramatically. More significant here is that US had a so-called strategic and vigilance policy of Taiwan, which means we will say we'll assist Taiwan to defend Taiwan, but will not say how we'll do it. Joe Biden said 4 times that US will come to Taiwan's military assistance if Taiwan is invaded by mainland China. That effectively, every time when he said State Department official will come out and say, oh, we never changed, that does not mean we changed one China policy. Do you agree with that? I think US policy has changed. Talk Taiwan. So the Taiwan issue now has become such a big issue. And the point I want to make here before I end is that both sides now has taken an uncompromising position. And both sides are making mistakes. China is risking overreaching. US is risking overreaction. That's my argument. Why I say China is overreaching? Because Xi Jinping's policy, both warrior diplomacy and the confrontation with the United States, all those really undermined, counterproductive China's national interests. And enemies everywhere, and internal, external, environments deteriorate. Just last week, China's stock market and humbled. And they did not even realize what's going on there. American investments, not only American investments, international investments also all gone. So China is confronting the United States in a much weaker and isolated position. And let me show one picture I enjoy most. Last October, I was in Beijing. This is the Belt Road Global Forum 2017. So many head of states there. 2019, still a lot, but much less. This time, last October. How many people there? This photo include their wives. See? This photo, when I saw this photo, I was so shocked. I was so shocked. Xi Jinping really overreached, overplayed his hands. And US also overreact. When I said, here, definition, maybe I should have definition. Overreach meaning you set strategic objectives beyond your ability. That's what Xi Jinping. The US also made a mistake. US overreaction. Why I say US overreaction? US exaggerated the China's threat. US has not made rational assessment of China threat. A lot of people exaggerate China threat. China could take Taiwan tomorrow, or down the road on Taiwan tomorrow. China will take US ideologically. For me, in America, I saw the China initiative. You all know that. And try to accuse all those Chinese origins, like myself, Americans, as a Chinese spy, and also some of them as kind of try to influence of operation. I think that's the America. Not when I came, lack of confidence. America in that case. How many people in this room want to live in China? But how many people want to live in the US? All the Chinese students, all the Chinese nationals, they want to come to the US. Why? At least majority of them, I know. Majority of them. And because they in China, I know those people in China solidly, in the university students, they have spent so much time studying Xi Jinping thought every day. Every day. Not real education, even a biology class, physics class, they have to combine Xi Jinping thought with your biology. Are you studying? Are you serious? And so many Chinese, I mean, in the Mexican border, year before last year, there were very few Chinese immigrants try to cross through Mexico. Last year, how many do you know? Over 4,000 Chinese nationals.
Oh my God.
And so, the Chinese version of autocracy, you think Americans would accept that? I don't think so. And how many even other countries accept that? No. Chinese leaders are more afraid of Western democracy than Western Americans afraid of Chinese autocracy. China built a firewall to prevent all those information to enter China. Is that a threat to America? I don't think so. Americans should be more confident. And let me give you an example here. American overreaction. I talk spy balloon. Was that a real spy balloon? No. U.S. used the most advanced jet fighter to shoot down that so-called spy balloon. Then U.S. Navy connect those debris, and also FBI analyzed that. What did they find? The sensor had never activated. And Journal Mike Milley, the former chairman of Joint Chief Staff, when he retired, I think last September, he gave an interview, CBS or something, said this was not spy balloon. They never collect any information. Send back to China. And there was indeed blown off the coast in a 6,000 feet high sky. But US at that time, you see, overreacted. All confusion institutes in the US now, the peak time there were 200 somewhere. Now coming back 5. Said them they are spy or influence operation. Come on. Come on. You really think that way? Although I did not sponsor them, but in any case. So in conclusion, I would say this kind of overreach and overreaction really puts these countries to the brink of the Cold War. But China and US are not in Cold War of two blocks of ideological and geopolitical alliances. So we're not in Cold War. Not people say you are China are in Cold War. Say this is different. If it is Cold War, it will be very different Cold War. And so these two countries really should not come to that type of conflicts. Because these two countries, if we come to a conflict, will quickly escalate to nuclear war. Nobody can win a nuclear war. Very dangerous. This competition, for me, is more who can make their own house in order first.
Yeah.
That's more important. China's enemy is not America. China's enemy is China. America's enemy is not China. America's enemy is America. That's what I see. I think most people would say that. But when you come to this kind of relationship, you forget it. Very often you forget it. And so Washington and Beijing, we, at this time, although we may not find ways to overcome those fundamental issues, but at least we can work on some shared interests, such as economic interdependence. We still have $700 billion stake in these two countries, such as climate change, such as pandemic cooperation, such as nuclear weapon collaboration, name it. But the problem now today is that all these issues have been hijacked by geopolitical competition of these two countries. And those hawks on both sides prevails. I see myself as building a bridge and then child. And I see I'm an adult. But China side don't like me because they see me as a kind of a brainwashed by Americans. Americans thought, you were born in China, we cannot trust you. So I mean, people in that situation, very, very awkward position because of those hawks. Those hawks, China hawks in the US hawks in China, they reinforce each other. They reinforce each other. These people not me, you. We should prevail.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I don't see that at this time. So, the Martha said we might want to have positive notes on the relationship.
Please.
I hope I can give you that, but I'm still not that positive. In fact, I've been aid one sentence a year. The summit meeting in San Francisco, I think, is pretty much a success. So the temperature has been lowered. And the communications have been restored. And somehow the daytime now has been accomplished. But can it last? We have a US election coming up. Can that survive this election? That's everyone's question. I'll stop.